Hi and welcome to this edition of Out the Box. My name is Paul Sillars. Today we're going to be looking at what's in this box. This is the Ubiquiti Amplify HD Starter Kit. As you know, these are not meant to be a technical overview. Hopefully going to be able to give you some ideas of how this suits what it works for, and maybe a few of the pointers that we've had from the masses of these units that we've sold and some of our customer feedback. So, you know, there's plenty of stock images out there. You will have seen some of Ubiquiti's videos. This is for creating an indoor mesh network, probably in the true sense of how I would define mesh, which means that you have multiple access points not physically wired together. So you can build this out with multiple routers, multiple mesh point routers. You can build it out with multiple mesh points, which are the access points, which I'll show you as well in a moment. So it is designed to replace a network that you may already have. It's similar to a number of the competitors' products out there. The idea being that you just have to have mains power and the access point is plugged into where the mains power is, and it will create a wireless mesh repeating the other access points in your property and allowing you to extend this. So let me show you inside so you can have a look at what I'm talking about. As I said, this is the starter kit. So this is the router and two mesh access points. Now I will just say one important thing here. The starter kit, both the mesh points, the wireless access points are keyed to the router. Now there are some configuration options in here where you can join two routers together with a cable, or I believe maybe over the wireless as well, and you can add extra mesh points. If you're going to do something like that that's beyond just adding extra mesh points on its own and you want to add in extra routers, then make sure you don't buy the starter kit, because the two mesh points are keyed to the router, like I said, and they won't connect to any other router that you have. So you'd want to buy just the router and the mesh points, or two routers and mesh points, but buy them individually. So let's have a little look of what's here in the box. We'll just pull this first open, and I should be able to open this up for you if I can remember where it is. Here we go. Alright, so let me just open this up. Try and figure out the best way of doing this without everything dropping on the floor. Maybe just going to put that beside me like that. So there you can see these are the mesh points, and this is the router here. So we'll have a look at these individually. What we'll probably just do, you do get a small box, probably not going to be worth opening up. There's a couple of meter Ethernet patch cable in there and the instructions. But let's have a look at the router first. Everybody asks us whether we do this with recycled or old units. So as you can see, this has still got all of its protective covering on it. So I'm just going to remove that so we can actually have a proper look at this unit. Alright, so this is the router. This is also a wireless access point as well. So this, if you like, is your base station. Common questions that we have, will this work with NBN? Will it work with ADSL? This does not have an inbuilt modem. So it won't connect directly to your DSL or your NBN network. So you do need a small little router like a Draytec or something like that in line with it. That will do that portion of the connection, and then you can connect this directly to it. It will do PPPoE, so it can pass the username and password session through a router that you maybe have set in pass-through mode. So on the front here would give you all your indications, all your speed, all your configuration information. On the back here, we have the power. We have the K connection here with the world on it that would go to your router, or if you have fiber to the property, or you have some other solution that just gives you Ethernet, then that's where that would go. The USB port down the bottom there, and then we've got 4 network ports, so 4 network ports as a switch. So you've got other devices that you can connect to this, connect a switch directly up to this. There are configurations where you can run 2 of these or more, and they can be cabled together, and they can create a backlink between them and have multiple access points talking to them. So that is the Amplify router. You can buy these on their own as well as in the pack. The power pack on there, everybody asks us, are these the Australian versions? Yes, these are Australian versions, Australian warranty. If you're watching this abroad, hopefully you'll be able to get the same things for your locality, but these ones here, so Australian power plug, I think this is the new USB-C shape power input for that. And then these are what are called the mesh points. These are your wireless access points. So if I again just take off, work out where the start and finish of this wrapping is on these. I said, well, this might be easier than done. There we go. All right, so these pull apart. So we'll talk in a moment about the angles and everything that you would get from these. So let me just take off the wrapping of the top antenna, and let me just take off this wrapping here of the plug. So again, people ask, do you need any conversion plugs? Are these American format or anything like that? These are the ones that we sell. These have the Australian power connector on there, as you can see. So the idea being, with the mesh points, you're going to find your power socket. You're going to plug this into your power socket in the room that you want it to be, and you can allow the antenna to have the right angle that's going to give the best performance in your room. So just a thing to remember here, wireless is about density, not about distance. This is not about how far you can get these from your router. It's about keeping the right density so that you don't have a huge amount of distance that a user can get a really poor signal. And if they get a really poor signal, they can still get Wi-Fi, but it will draw all the speed down for everybody else connected to the access points. You want to try and space these right. So when you're setting these up, what we normally say to customers, get the router in place and then put this maybe one room away and check the performance speed. Then you can maybe move this another room away and see how the performance is. And that should help you decide how many access points you need. Probably for most houses, 2 access points in the router will be a great starting point. It will depend if your house is long instead of more of a square shape. Maybe some of those people who've got them in an L, if you can get this router up into one of the corners and then have an access point to the left and an access point behind you or to the right, however that L works, that would probably balance it up as best you can. So hopefully that's been helpful to see what these are, the mesh points. And you can have multiple of these, so you spread these out across your property to give you the best coverage. You can actually have multiple of the routers like we've talked about and join them via Ethernet, and you can actually make a really, really cool setup. I know a lot of businesses are going down this route as well. So hopefully that's been useful. That was the Ubiquiti Amplify HD, and we've been looking at the starter kit, but all of these components are purchasable individually as well. My name is Paul Sillers.